What's going on, everybody? It is let me see, it's the PM session today, and quite a move up, I guess, on the indices, right? So far, we have quite a bullish Monday low of the week in play. ES is going towards, its all-time high, essentially. Like, we'll have to see when it gets there. I don't know if we'll get there today. It's likely we need another 15 points, right? So we'll see if it gets there today. But pretty interesting session so far. We did not have a morning session because, like I said, just didn't trade it because of the no news and things like that. And actually, I actually had thought that it would be a gap up. Typically, when we're going for some kind of huge buy side, a lot of times London just goes for it, right? Kind of crazy. But here I had marked out just the premium and discount of the morning session. This was the hourly fair value gap that had broken a high. We had come back there, but not during what I would have wanted it to have done this during one, which was high impact news, the bonds, or 1:30, but did it earlier. So I'm not in anything right now. I'll have to see how it goes. How is everyone doing today? Did you guys miss me? How'd you guys do? Did you guys trade the morning today? Probably, right? Everybody here trades everything all the time, right? I'll do a little Q&A poll. So I think the morning session pretty standard with the how we expect it to move after a gap up, right? And it hit, I believe NQ hit like last week's high, and ES hit last week's high right at open. And then like we can review that for a second, but because it's not even silver bullet yet, but let me see exactly what I got down here. Like right here is last week's high during the morning session, right? And it hit it, had a strong reaction. I believe ICT just shorted down to here, got his 5 handles. Pretty good. You got it shorts in this market. You really got to be quick, right? Because we're near all-time highs. It's like, any shorts are not really lasting very long, and you don't want to really be trying to pick tops. So I think he shorted from like here down to here. Got like about 5 points. So pretty cool. Pretty standard here, 2022 model here, right? This happens before silver bullet hour, so this is like actually pretty decent. But then, as you can see, the first hour after that was hit, the first hour of the day was pretty choppy, and then we had to push up. So we'll see what we have in store here for the afternoon session. Not in any sort of rush. I would like to, I don't know, look for any. I'm not going to try to pick a top, right? So I am looking for just the longs, as ES has a mission to get to, and I'm not going to stand in the way of that mission, really. But solid monitor, I would like to see some kind of manipulation, right? It would be great if we come back here and manipulate this low. I mean, that's my perfect A+ entry, right? But I don't know if it's going to do that. We have NQ as a 6 sister right now, right? So it's not hit the high of day yet, but it's working on it. So, like I said earlier, it came back into like the discount of the day's range during 1240. Looks like NQ at 1 had a little bit better of a manipulation. So, I'm not too sure if I'll even find some entry today, but, it'll be good to read it nonetheless. So let's see what's up with oh, Norman Diaz, thank you so much for the $20 donation. I appreciate it. Wow. Guess you guys missed me, huh? Looks like 67% people said yes, they did miss me. Cool. So, I had tweeted saying, like, never bring yesterday's losses into today, etc. Right? And some people were like, that's easier said than done. Well, yeah, it is. That's why you have to actually have some sort of system in play, right? So you have to, after a session, I like to just like do a little brain dump and like think about it, what I did right, what any mistakes I made, and then like write it all out on paper. It's really good to just externalize some things. Yes, Dad did start the Robbins Cup today. He took that short like we talked about. The 2022 model short on ES. I do think, you notice how he's took ES as well. I do think ES has kind of been better structure recently. You know, it's what we call rotation, when one index, you know, switches to being better than the other, right? Let's see. Right, this is ES right here. Yeah, maybe I'll leave it on ES a bit more. This is the hourly down here, right? It's just running. We had like straight up green candles for the past X amount of hours. So what I think about when I'm looking at it, it's like I'm thinking about the 4 hour. Like, yeah, like we're not gonna, or the daily, and like we're not gonna retrace. Like it's like one of the first large up days. So like I'm not gonna try to short or anything. If anything, you just look for a six sister on NQ, but pretty tough. It's not 2 p.m. yet either, so. This is the draw, I believe, on it. Yes, but maybe not today, right? We're above 5,000. We hit 5,000 today. So that's crazy. I know Wall Street's going to be having parties today. But yeah, so accumulated emotion is a real thing, right? Like, you could still feel annoyed from the previous trade or the previous day, or let me think, and bring it into the next trade, right? You can feel more fearful and then start micromanaging your trade. That actually has happened to me. I think literally yesterday I tried to take a long during the lunch macro, and I ended up just cutting it for break even. But I literally I was never any drawdown, and had I just held it, it would have worked out, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm following my risk protocol. I'm just gonna make sure I'm gonna take half size, so I'll risk instead of 450, I'll risk like 275 per play on any plays that I do take. So DXY is looking good from our larger range perspective, right? So it hit that buy side on the monthly, went to the midpoint of the CE weekly fair value gap, and now it's disrespecting these two huge 4-hour fair value gaps, inverted them, right? I would just like to see it drip lower from here, right? Sort of like retesting it, been retesting it. Just drip lower, and then, you know, that'll be good for more to all-time highs for ES. YM is not at the all-time high yet, at highs yet. I think that's even from, not at last week's high yet. That's interesting. Lagging a little bit. Anyway, let's check out the chat for a minute. Fresh start. How much am I up on my funded account? Not much. Like, I was up 1,500, and then I took a loss yesterday, so I'm like up, like what, 800? Yeah. So, just being careful because when you just start some funded accounts, and the other one I just started, so I'm literally in drawdown. So when you start on the funded accounts, you want to make sure it's like A play or A plus play, setup play, essentially. Hi. What's up? What do I want to say? Yeah. So you have NQ creeping up towards that. Yeah, in a perfect world, it would have come back here. You see the 15. Pretty nicely doing this, right? Looks wicking it and then going back up again. It's not even 2 p.m. yet, but I'm not really a fan when the manipulation has already happened. I'll just wait. That's my advantage is I have time, I have patience, and I know that like nothing can I'm like level-headed, you know? So if you start to like forge that belief, like that's who you are, it's gonna help you as well. So like make your actions that way. Let me think for a moment. Simo show says you just need 750 to complete a funded account. You want this week to be easy. Haha. Yeah, we wish for that every week, right? Well, good luck though. Like don't rush it. And also if like your next trade is a loss, don't worry too much about that either. So check out these equal highs. I really wouldn't be surprised if like NQ just like, you know, has a little bit of a drip down lower somewhere. We'll see what happens. Blessings, thank you. Makes me happy when people like say nice things. Right, if I think about this in the 15-minute, that's interesting. It's something I didn't really look at too much, but there was like, it's an inverted fair value gap on the 15. Let me see if that's gonna, does that really mean anything to me or not? Do we like retest it later? No, not yet. So like we could come back down in that area, perhaps. It's all about like, what do you think? Do you think like this is the low of the afternoon? I think it's likely that this is the low of the afternoon, right? So then like now this is our new range. Right, because this completely filled in that hourly imbalance. So now this is like our new range. So then we want to buy in like the discount part. So if it does come back into this area, maybe it does. We'll have to see. NQ. What's going on with the market today? Let's see. I'm looking at just FinViz for the general, heat map. Okay, yeah, market is bright green today. Like Meta is very green, Microsoft, Apple's about flat. Quite interesting. But everything's really just green. So, not going against the trend really. I do think, right, NQ could even get to like 18,000 for sure. Because I'd like just like a little calculation, like the manipulation leg from FOMC, right? Where was FOMC down here, I believe, right? Wednesday. Okay, right now? Yeah. Down here. I did like a little calculation that we could like move up to twice that. Possible. Not today, obviously, but like literally I'm not shorting. This week could very well end up this huge bullish week. Like, what do you think the weekly's gonna do? It's gonna end up over this. It's gonna close over this. Like, we're already over it. Um, yeah, so I'm mostly like focusing on bullish plays. And if I like lose a bullish play in like a market that's going consistently up, I don't really mind it so much, as it's much worse to like uh try to pick the top and keep getting rolled over, right? Just gonna like put an alert when it like peeks this out. If it does that. 2 p.m. just started. Hello, 1,000 people. Hit that like button. What's going on? CPI pushed to 18,000 would be nice, someone says. Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, that would, it always needs some kind of catalyst. That's next week, right? Next Tuesday? It's only 100, it's 150 points away. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. Perhaps like just a premium discount type of array. Like, I'm not just gonna go straight up in there for sure, but I'll just have to look, watch, and see. Maybe it takes out this low into this like inversion, and this is like an order block, right? Pretty large body candle. We'll have to see. Even in here, could wick into this, into here. I don't know. We'll see. If it goes without me, I'll just have to accept that. Like, it's fine. Like, I'd be like, this is already in a premium, and then like it's like in a premium of a premium, essentially, right? So, what happened here? Okay. So yeah, I'm being responsible just for the rest of the week, right? It's Robin's Cup season. Anya, do I use IPDA ranges? I think the person to follow that for that, like, I'm not well versed in it enough to be teaching it, but the person to follow that on Twitter is Powerful Joji. He's pretty good at that stuff. But like an example was probably like NQ November took out those 60-day lows. Sure, I can give an example. So you look at the first most obvious market structure shift, right? Which is this one. And you go 60 days, 20, 60, and 20, 40, and 60 days earlier from it. Right? He has an example on his Twitter. But essentially, it took out these like 60-day lows in November. Maybe he used this one, but June lows. Took them out in October, and then in November, this was FOMC, you had this like huge move back up into the range, closing above, and then just started the huge run up since then. And that's how and then you look 20, 40, 60 days back and go for those highs. So this is like 20-day back highs. That's an easy target to, if you're long here, just like literally hold. So a good way to like swing trade. That's like that's in core content, ICT core content. Okay, so far really been just consolidating here. We'll see what ends up happening for us. Again, I'm gonna like risk only like 275 in any play I take. Sing, please. Use shift on my keyboard? I do. Sometimes it doesn't work. I don't know why sometimes it doesn't. Good afternoon, Nacho. Let's put music. Tanya, do I prefer the starter or the expert my fund of future accounts? I prefer the expert ones because there's no consistency rules, there's no scaling, and like it's better withdrawal rules. So that's what I have. 2 of those passed. And now, like, literally, like, I did the work, passed 2 of them. Now, that's just the first step, right? That's the easy part, honestly. It's not that easy to pass, right? Because I had to get to 12,000 profit target on those, like, 150Ks. But, like, now is really the harder part, is, like, getting to that above that little buffer of the end of the day drawdown, which is above 4,500, right? And then taking your payouts, right? So, I'm not in any kind of rush. I really refuse to blow anything up, and I will be using my risk management to stay in the game, which is take 2 losses in a row, stop for the day, and then come back the next day and half your risk, and then you can go back to full risk when you make half of your losses back, right? So if I lost $900, right? I risked like $450 2 times, right? Now I have to risk $275 until I make $450, which is half of what I lost, and then I can go back up to risking $450 again. Yeah. You can watch a good video. It's called like ICT has a good one. It's called Considerations in Risk Management. It's one of his best videos. And people don't realize that, like, you can literally have like a any type of strategy, and you manage your risk well, then you'll still be profitable, right? It really depends on how you manage your risk. So, pretty glad I didn't really get into anything so far, right? It's just been consolidating in this upper range of the day. We'll see what ends up happening. I don't really have like such expectations for the day since we're sort of far away from the manipulation at this point, right? So I think this is like a 1 minute market structure market maker buy model. This is kind of the initial consolidation here, and it reached it. So it's that kind of have to like wait for something again. That's fine. We can talk about other stuff and review other stuff in the meantime. Good afternoon. Yeah, I do know I have to hold the shift button. Did I see ICT's first trade? Yeah, we just talked about it. We talked about Dad's first trade. He took the 2022 model short at like 940. ICT has a lot of money management videos. All have such good information, but they also are the least watched videos for some reason. I wonder why. Let me see if I definitely took notes for considerations and risk management. I wonder if it's on my computer here. I could share it, but I see my email. Mm-hmm. Let me get it from my phone. I definitely know it's on my phone though. He literally talks about like how many failed trades you can take then in a row. Like, you know, just take some mathematical models. Pretty good. This is kind of how I trade the afternoon session. I put in alerts from where like I have my points of interest, and that's how it goes. Also, core content month 5 is money management. You can literally here's like I'll literally say out loud all his risk management videos. There's considerations in risk management, money management that works, month 2 how to mitigate losing streaks, and month 5 money management. That's what we are. We're professional risk managers. So looks like it's on the document of my notes is on my laptop, so it's not on my phone either. Tanya trades, can you kindly explain why you wouldn't short here when we are seeing SMT divergences on S&P and NQ, where NQ is 6 sister and it's rejecting its highs? Pretty simple. You know, I believe that the drawn liquidity is higher for ES later in the week. We have all-time highs for ES, right, up here. So I'm not, it could definitely go higher and pull NQ along with it, and as well as DXY, hit monthly buy side, and then CE of a weekly fair value gap, and now it's violated 2 4-hour fair value gaps. And shifting bearish. I'm not just gonna short because of an SMT. Sounds like you cannot start your analysis on an SMT. It's not good. There's always going to be an SMT, right? Because one index is always going to be stronger. What is you're just using 15-minute buy side on NQ or something. There's no shift or anything, really. There's no break of a short-term low of displacement. No. What I think about a lot is I don't like to try to guess tops. There are times that I have shorted actually this market going to the highs a few times, right? I believe last week, but for a short period of time during AM session, it hit some major liquidity, last week's high, daily high. Not just a 15-minute high is not really anything special to me. Especially when I'm bullish, so that's why. I just think about how there are shorts trapped here. You see that if anything to me, I think these are shorts getting trapped here in these wicks. I'd rather look for longs down here. Forgot what I was gonna say. Prime example is Nvidia. The market can remain irrational for longer, higher for longer. So when we're at all-time highs, which we are for NQ, right? I'm not really trying to do that. There's no it's a different story if it's an hourly bearish fair value gap or something like that. But I do think it can retrace. Doesn't mean I want to short it, really. For me to actually even think about shorting NQ, it would have to break this low here with a displacement, right? It would have to break this with a displacement for me to even think about it, and then I would go for this low here. Right? So initial consolidation. Breaking 50% of the daily range. That's what I would do if I was gonna short. That's my answer. Edge says the urge to short the market is strong. You want a bagel? Bagel. Too bad. I have the best bagels in New York here. I saw some really funny meme about this guy from New York and Florida. And who's got a Florida bagel. And then he just I got a Florida bacon, egg, and cheese. And then the video just goes to him throwing it out in the dumpster. I thought that was so good. You see, to me, it's just some shorts here, shorting more. I'm trapped, to be honest. See what ends up happening here. You know, ES is still like near the highs. Tanya, do you know Tanya is the name of the city in Morocco? Yes, I know. Many Moroccan subscribers have told me that. Very cool. But I believe you guys pronounce it Tanja or Tangier, something like that. Maybe one day I'll go, and then I'll put the caption, Tanya in Tanya. Tanya visits Tanya, something like that. Yeah, ICT says if we look at the weekly chart, we can see we are bullish. That's why I wouldn't short here. S&T can be a confirmation. Correct. I think a lot of people fail to remember that one of the first things that ICT says in the 2022 mentorship is like your first thing that you need to know, you need to do is figure out the weekly direction, right? And the weekly profile. You have like Monday low of the week. To me, that signals like very bullish. I've like back tested and like every single like very bullish week has like had Monday low of the week, right? So it's only Wednesday. Only Wednesday. I don't think this is Wednesday high of the week. Like why would it be? Especially ES didn't reach all-time highs yet. And you know, I think it's like okay to be wrong on a long if like you're near all-time highs and you know you're still going with the trend. But if you're, I wonder how many people like were trying to short here. Obviously a lot, seeing that this huge move up afterwards, right? Right? That's why I actually really liked ICT's video today. Right? He showed his trade on ES, and he just took his 5 handles and he got in and got out, and that's it. Like he was content with that. Like $250 on 5 handles, 2.5% on his account already. Shorts in this market you cannot stay for too long, and he stayed like the perfect amount, honestly. Like anyone else who stayed in that short just got blown out. Like I can imagine all these people trying to short after seeing just one 15-minute candle to the downside. Right, just like 115 candle. So, you know, you gotta determine the weekly direction. Right? Obviously we're bullish. Made Monday low of the week. I believe like we're gonna close above last week's high for more bullish. But that's what we should do for more bullishness for next week. But you know, I'll have to see. We'll have to see ES as well. We had 2 small days previous days, small body candles, so it makes sense that today will be a large body close. Right? Kind of like this, right? Close above previous day, and then, you know, I'm not shorting tomorrow. Perhaps we can have, this is a Friday, huge move up. This was Wednesday low of the week. This is another Monday low of the week. Right, Thursday, Friday, and then this is another Monday low of the week as it's trending up and breaking above these highs. Anyway. Kind of boring market right now. Let's check out any more comments. Yeah, I'm drinking coffee. Yeah, picking the top is super hard best to go trend until higher time frame confirmation. Yeah. Yeah, that's my thing. Is like higher time frame on like DXY, it kind of seems like it hit its buy side and it's like retracing. So it's like even more bullish for indices, you know. Let's say the euro. I feel like the euro has been just, you know, easier. They're like way more correlated, obviously, though. That's like to be expected. Or Forex and the euro dollar to be way more correlated with the XY. Yeah. Much cleaner. Best bagels in Montreal, sorry? No way. Get out of here. What the heck did I just read? I've been to Montreal. I did not try any bagels there because what? I had poutine. That was good. It's like French fries and cheese and gravy. That was good. I'll give you guys poutine. I won't give you bagels. The heck. ES is pretty much holding up at the. See what happens here with NQ. Just gyrating. Thank God I'm not in any trade right now, right? I mean, there's no setup, but like literally, like anyone that's still in this. By the way, like this manipulation, right? Pretty tough to hold through this, but they would have gotten to the target. 130 high is here. Interesting. It hit that at 130. I need to think for a moment about the time. You see something. Interesting day so far. Salmon and cream cheese. Yeah, we call that like lox. Just like when it's like smoked salmon. I do the everything bagel with cream cheese. That's my order. Except I get scallion cream cheese. I get toasted also. Toasted everything bagel. Yeah, I mean, you have this like inverse 15-minute. I don't know, I do think that this is likely the low of the afternoon, so then I have this marked out. If ES is sort of consolidating at the highs at the same time. So I wouldn't be surprised if we sort of do a little manipulation into here. We'll see if something happens. But yeah, I mean, I'm not shorting this. I have an alert for when it breaks this low if it does so. Kind of just consolidating. It's good to just practice your patience as well. CL chart is just like, but yikes. I haven't looked at CL. CL is like typically in a range bound market, so I don't really trade it. Some people have said like it's good to look at it when indices are, like indices are not going to trend for that moment than to trade CL, but it's definitely a little bit more complicated. I think it's more thinly traded and probably a little bit more manipulated. Golds. Someone's looking for longs in gold. I use 130 price as reference, yeah. I do. It has to like align with like my idea. So I'm not just like starting off with that. Right? I'm not just going like, oh, 130 took this local high, time to short or something. No, I'm like, we're still bullish, right? So we ended up doing that manipulation like during lunch hour into the an hourly fair value gap that broke the highs, right? That's where I'm typically looking at, like, especially if it lines up with breaking highs. Last week's high broke, right? And then that's where it pretty much filled it to the tick. And then it started expanding up, right? This was like your pretty difficult if you decide to get into the long there. I'm good. But like this was the 1 EM bond news. Typically like that is like bringing a lot of way more volatility than usual in the market, so that's why I'm not just gonna like hold position there. We'll see what ends up happening here. Yeah, NYPM range refers to New York lunch range. Yeah, pretty much. The lunch low is here now, and it filled in an imbalance, so likely is like the low of the local low, intermediate low. Just about like like waiting for a reaction or something, manipulation reaction, and then some sort of entry framed risk, but we don't know if it's going to happen or not. But you have like this inverse, you have little order blocks here, so we'll see. The bagels are for people who like to eat a donut with resistance, high resistance donuts, essentially. Oh man, that's great. I mean, they're really filling. I had a bagel this morning, actually. I had it. I'll freeze them. I put it in the freezer like a mini bagel cream cheese. Put it in the toaster. Didn't even like come back into a discount yet. Nothing. Didn't take out this low. Really boring, which is good. It's good to be bored. When will we see ICT and Tanya streaming together? Yeah, ICT, you want to come onto the stream? Hi, Santiago. Santiago says, new sub, want to say hi. Hello. Man, people are getting chopped up. Yeah, like I can imagine people who are trying to buy this like trend line or breakout or whatever people try to do, or like bull pennant or breakout here or whatever. So I don't know. We'll see. See if it like does what I want it to. I don't know if it will, but we'll have to see. And I would need like a change in state delivery also. I'm not just like blindly getting it. But I do think like accumulation, manipulation into this, we'll see, and then up. If not, then nothing happens and whatever. I'm looking at like ES, and I'm gonna mark out this 5-minute fair value gap actually. I might end up taking ES as well, I don't know. The interesting thing is like ES is a lot stronger, and let me see. Yes. Like I had measured this morning's range. It didn't even come into the discount of that like NQ did. Right, this is just very small tap into that hourly fair value gap. Kind of interesting. I can see it sort of even coming into like this imbalance or something. I don't know. That I don't know if that's gonna if that would hold for the day. You know, I would have to wait and see some reactions. But I mean, like I do think we're going here. Might not happen. Probably won't happen until at the end of the day, but we'll see. So if that's like right, that's aligned with like NQ, that local low, that's what happens, then perhaps accept the low into this to go higher. Yes. I mean, this is the down close candle before the high. But this one PM like this 1 PM news like literally just like wicked that high. That was crazy. I actually saw that happen. Right, a little bit different than NQ there. Anyway, we'll see what happens. I think that could possibly happen here for ES. Right, if you're thinking that this is the low of the from what like the lunch, this is the lunch low. This is like the current high of day. Like that would be a raid into a discount. That's like your dealing range. Possible. We'll have alerts. Hmm. Kind of boring here, honestly. We've been live since like 1:45. Price has not really moved too much. Guys, it's another bull flag here. Yeah, price is ugly. ICT said maybe August to join my stream. Hold them to it. Okay, I'll do it. Alright, bye ICT. We'll be good. How would I summarize that 2022 model? Okay. Number 1, know the weekly direction and trade in the direction of that. Number 2, wait for a run on liquidity. Right? Actually, number 2, know the draw on liquidity, right? So you know the direction of the weekly candle. So you know the second, you gotta know the draw on liquidity, like locally. You know, whether it's swing high, swing low, imbalance, equal highs, equal lows. Number 3, I'll just start writing it out then. So for knowing the direction of the weekly candle, you need to use DXY, you need to use higher weekly and daily indices, charts. 2, know the local DL or whatever you want to do, the draw on liquidity, equal highs / lows, imbalances, which are like fair value gaps, FEGs, BISIs / SIBIs, swing high, swing low. Number 3, wait for a run on liquidity. Okay. Number 4, like it has to be a run on liquidity in the opposite direction, right? So if you're bullish, you're looking for a sweep of equal lows or something like that, or run into a bit SIBI. Number 4, market structure shift. There's a break of short-term high or short-term low, or some people, there's or a change in state of delivery, right? Which is a little bit different. You're waiting for an order block to get violated, to be created. Well, an order block to be created. Number 5, entry, which is you can choose your entry, whether you want to do 50% retrace, OTE, breaker plus fair value gap, or do you want to just do a fair value gap, or do you want to do OB plus fair value gap? Whatever structure gives me, looking at that. But sometimes if you're, sometimes let's say you'll just miss your entry, and you'll have to be okay with it. Like let's say you're only doing OTEs. Sometimes there's not going to be a retracement to that because of structure, because it's already balanced below the 50%. So that's where a little bit of more advanced thinking comes in, but like you also just can't be phased if you miss your entry, essentially. Hope that helped. Oh my god, Jonathan J. Making people tattoo things? You watched ICT Sniper Guide? That's good. Yeah, it's a good series. Yeah, no raid, no trade. Do I prefer MSS or CISD? I prefer MSS. Sometimes that's just not going to happen. Sometimes, the market structure shift is you have to use change in state of delivery because the market structure shift would happen to too much of a premium, right? If you're like bullish, and guess what? We just did this, right? Like the market structure shift is going to come all the way back up here, right? Sometimes that's like a scenario where I'll have to look at inversions and change in state of delivery to figure out how to get involved here, right? This will be a mitigation block. You don't. Or I'll use like change in state of delivery if I made a video about this. If like higher time frame order flow is all lined up, right? Then I'll use change in state of delivery because it's already in line of order flow. Sorry, I don't really need a market structure shifted. It's already shifted on almost like every time frame except for maybe like the smallest one that I'm entering on. So that's it. Kind of boring. Did not come back into this discount. It's just running up higher now. ES is close to the highs of day. So, at the very least, I hope I'm not, I hope I explained why we went short here. Two to three, silver bullet hour is almost finished. Yeah, there was just no entry for me. If it just decides to continue here, we'll see. That's a 2022 model. Let me see my little... Okay. What order do I recommend for ICT videos? I believe he made like a 40-minute long video about this, right? It depends. Do you know basic trading stuff or not? If you're very new to trading, start with Market Maker Primer series. You already know some trading basics and start with 2022 mentorship. But anyway, I think like Market Maker Primer is the best to start out with, and Scout Sniper, then 2022, and core content. Also make sure to watch all the risk videos because that's where everyone messes up, right? Yeah, he put out a video like very recently because he's putting out the 2021 models out. Put out like a 40-minute long video of like where to start. Have I ever traded on the 30-minute time frame? Not really. I feel like the highest I've taken a trade on is like 15-minute. Yeah, Jean cannot find an entry. Done. Okay. Nixon Valentine asks, how did you tackle the mental game of trading? You're like asking like the mental game, or you're asking about the book? You're asking about the book. I just listen to the audiobook and then I do the worksheets. You're asking about the mental game? It's pretty tough, right? I have like a little piece of paper here. My little routines, right? It says pre-session warm-up. It says like all these things I do. In-session routine, and then post-session cool down. Right? That sort of has my details on there. Let me know if you want to see a video on that. I have, for Bagel Buddies, put out my post-session cool down. My Bagel Besties, sorry. I think that's the secret. Like, once you have a model that works long term, it's really about like surviving long enough so that you can thrive, if that makes sense, right? So you're surviving the harder market conditions, right? How are you doing that? Having this system so that you don't get carried away if you take a loss or two, right? A lot of people, they end up, they can't handle a loss. Maybe it's ego, maybe it's like their expectations of themselves, or they feel like entitlement towards the market. I believe a lot of it is like, oh, you're gonna show the market, or you deserve that win or something, right? You don't deserve anything. You're not entitled to anything, right? So, like I said, it's about like to survive the losses, endure them, both mentally, so that you don't, slip away. A lot of people end up, and this had happened to me in the past for sure. It's like called like, when your brain gets scrambled and you have like no control over what you're doing anymore, right? There is a point of no return everyone gets to. Everyone has that point of no return where your emotion overloads your whole brain and you're not thinking logically anymore. So you have to have a system in place so that you don't get there, right? And what is that? It looks different for everyone. That's where journaling comes in, taking data on your own actions comes in, right? So that's what I do is after I make some sort of mistake, write down what happened, what was the trigger for it, what was the action I did, what was the emotions I felt like, and what behavior did I do, and what thoughts happened. So at the very least, I can recognize it as it's happening or before it's happening, before it snowballs into something bigger, right? Right? So then step one is acknowledgement, awareness, right? But that's just step one. A lot of people are just aware and they don't do anything about it, right? Step two is interference, right? So what are you going to do when that happens? Varies for everyone. It's very personal, right? So it's either a lot of people end up like a lot of times it is you have to remove yourself from the screens for a little bit, right? For at least 5, 10, 15 minutes. Another thing you can do is write out what happened, right? Walk, exercise, whatever. That's just the interference, right? That's not actually going to fix the problem, right? That's just getting you away from the computer so that you don't blow up, essentially, right? Like physically. And for me, I have to actually leave the computer. Like I can't just be on, like just close a chart and then like be on doing something else on the computer, Twitter or whatever, because what's going to happen is I'll open up Twitter and mindlessly and then see someone else have a winning trade and then want to get back in, right? And then what's the next step? It is write out like your figure out what was your inherent flaw behind that behavior, behind that. You don't have to know exactly what your emotion was, but like what is the flawed thinking behind that, right? Were you upset were you feeling FOMO and chased and but like sure, that's what you did and that's what you felt, but like why did you do that? Because you have some sort of high expectation for yourself, perhaps, that you have to catch every single move in the market. That is then the flawed logic that you have to work on, right? You have to think about why do you have that flawed logic, right? Maybe you used to work at a job or in school, like you're used to getting high grades and always knowing the answers, right? And always whatever it is, right? It's a very personal thing. Like, why do you have that flawed logic? And you have to actually work on correcting the logic, right? Then you actually have to write a little reminder. That's what I do. A bunch of little reminders saying like, for FOMO, let's say, like, here's a reminder, like, a trade happens every day. I'll find another one tomorrow, right? If you're feeling FOMO. Or I can't expect to be right every single time, and that's not what makes money. What makes money is um, letting my strategy play out over a series of trades for a period of time. Right? So you have to find some sort of personal statement that's going to calm you down in that moment also. Right? Okay, and then that's really when you resolve the emotion, is when you actually correct your flawed logic. Then you'll stop having that issue. That takes time and effort. And in that process, you're probably going to find another issue come up, which is fine. Like, that's pretty normal for everyone. It's like you mess up one, you fix one, then another one pops up, right? And that's just like a continued process. But like, that's the thing, is like, you gotta just like cut the mistakes that cause you the most money. So like, I actually had like this piece of paper I found from a long time ago. Like, write down what is like your most common mistake. What's your most common mistake that you do, right? That's where you can start. And one of mine, actually I have it maybe right here. No. I was like cleaning and I found it, which was actually really nice to see. And it was like, my biggest mistake was seeing the price like 90% to the drawn liquidity and just buying in a deep premium off a propulsion block without any without any liquidity raid, and just trying to get that last squeeze of the move. And almost all the time I would lose a lot of money that way, right? I would just lose that, because that's not even you're buying an extreme premium, right? So thank God I fixed that, honestly. Because look at this, like, it's not doing anything. Anyway, let's look at the chat. What are people saying? What are people saying? Can we see 18,000? Yeah, we could, but not today. I don't think today. I don't think we're doing much today. 1 hour left. I don't think we're going to go 150 points, right? We have to go all the way up here. We need some sort of more catalyst. Maybe CPI next week, maybe tomorrow's unemployment claims. I think we can, because this is a standard deviation from FOMC manipulation up here. But yeah. Oh, cozy babes. That's so sweet. Thank you. How am I so... Norman Diaz, how are you so wise, full of great wisdom at such a young age? That's kind of funny. I appreciate that. I don't know. I don't think of myself as wise. Maybe just very painfully aware. And in this world, it's not fun to be painfully aware of things, I guess. I'd rather be blissfully ignorant at sometimes, but, in terms of trading, it's better this way. What trading platform do I use? Typically 2022 mentorship. Nice job. I hate the chop. How do you avoid losing in chop? Wait for displacement. Yeah, that's basically it. You gotta wait for displacement. Especially, if there already was manipulation, then you don't see any type of displacement. It can retrace back and take that low out again. Can we see 18,000 today? I don't know. Let's ask the chat. I don't really think so, personally. I think now Apex is, by the way, is a 80% off sale. I think like a 50k account's like about $33. Apex is good for like figuring out that your strategy works and such, and if you're a scalper. I have a few accounts with them, but if anyone's looking for a cheap eval. But like my funded futures, the 50ks are $90, no activation fee. So in the end, that's cheaper than Apex, because you have to do like a $130, $140 activation. But I have like all of them. People are asking me like, which ones do you use? I use all of them essentially. Well, there's 3 that I use. Top Step, My Fund of Futures and Apex. There's a few others, but like I'm just like trying not to overload with a bunch of accounts. Trying to get to payouts now, not just buying more accounts essentially. And then you roll your payouts into more accounts. Just good to diversify because like like I have Tradeovate on My Fund of Futures, and then I have Rhythmic on the others. And like I've seen sometimes Rhythmic is down, so then I'll just do Tradeovate. Sometimes Tradeovate is down, so it's just good to have a couple of different things, a couple of different brokers. How many accounts do I trade at one time? Typically like 3. Sometimes 1. Sometimes, if it's, sometimes I'll do like 5, like, 2 or 3 are evals. How much time did you spend learning ICT, and do you spend the same amount studying now? I don't know if I can, like, think about how much time. I don't know if I can think about it in terms of that. Many hours. I haven't logged it, but, like, many, many hours. From end of March 2022, right? Because I basically, when I found out about him, he was, like, on episode maybe 11 of, the mentorship. So then, that was lucky, because then, like, after I caught up, then I was sort of learning it as he was putting them out. I don't know, the many hours over weekends. And I think that honestly, the number one thing, and he said this in spaces, like, you have to watch price action. You have to watch candles form. You have to get that screen time in, because that only then you will be able to internalize the market and the way it moves better, as well as like when it does change a little bit, right? You'll be able to adapt better. That's why typically so, and he said in his spaces, like, for people that work jobs, to screen record your screen for the day and then just watch it play back, like, on a faster playback speed. You could do that. You could also do replay, but you don't really see how the candles form, right? That's why I like FX replay, because you can actually put on like the 5-minute and then have it move according to the 1-minute candles, or 3-minute and then have it according to 1-minute candles move. But like it's good to watch the open, high, low, and close of each candle form. So, well, good thing that I'm, no one's shorted, right? People said that the urge to short was high. You don't short. Look at ES is going still towards the high day. Yeah, not didn't really get an entry. I was looking for at least a dip back into the discount of the dealing range. Not really any manipulation here. We didn't even break this low. All I can say. Tradeovate has nice market replay too. That's good to know. Anya, how do you handle drawdowns and losing trade size down? Like, right, literally, like, by the way, like yesterday, I tried ES long twice and I got stopped out pretty much at the low of the day. Right, and it was just barcoding all day, so I left. Shout out to the chat for literally just telling me, like, call it a day, and I did. So what, I was like long from like 49.60, and where are we now? Like 5,000, right? But like, you can't carry that emotion to the next day. But what I've been doing is have half my risk, half your risk, until I make back half of my drawdown. So Or I could give a FOMO for sellers and go to her a sell. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna find any trade now. It's just like continuing up, so that's basically it. We just read the tape, and I explained why I wouldn't take any shorts, and that's basically it. I hope everyone had a decent day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. I'm gonna be live at 9:15 a.m.